Good afternoon, everybody. How are we? Good? Having a good day? That was all pretty exciting from Animal Logic, wasn't it? I think we all want to go and get a job there, don't we? Hi, my name is Kerry Fox in CSC. I'm here with my colleague Matt Cudworth, and we're going to do a little bit different today. We were wanting to just tell you a little bit about how technology, what a big part it plays in not just business, but of course in our everyday life. And I've brought with me today 4 of our graduates who, in fact, this is their 4th week with CSC. So they've sat in your seat, albeit some years ago, and they've all had the same sort of questions that you might have had. What course should I do? What do I need to know? Where do I need to, what university to go to, etc. So once Matt's had a chat with you about the amazing things that technology does in our world today, we thought we'd have a little panel to give you an opportunity to ask some questions of Eric, Jack, Stella and Jessica. But before we start, today is a momentous occasion for CSC because we actually came together with another company called UXC today. And we're now one of the largest IT services company in Australia, so it's a really exciting day for us. We're now almost 6,000 people. So we're all really keen. We've got a big, huge organisation now, so we're going to bring lots of, obviously, opportunity to the marketplace and also for our prospective employees. So without further ado, I'd like to hand over to Matt Cudworth, who's one of our Chief Technology Officers. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Kerry. So one thing about being a Chief Technology Officer is I'm not very good at doing what I'm told to do. So instead of talking about the technology industry today, I've got 3 things for you. The first one is I've got a challenge. The second is a secret, and the last one is some advice. So the first one is, I don't think you get a choice whether you join the technology industry or not. I don't think that when you go out into the workforce in a few years' time, that there will be an industry that is not heavily influenced by technology. So how many people here know how to code? Who knows how to code? As expected, quite a few people. Most of you probably better than I can. So there's a very famous quote from a guy called Mark Andreessen called "Software's Eating the World." And does anyone know what this means? Has anyone heard this one before? It's very famous. You're going to learn a lot about it. What he means by this is that every industry is being disrupted and changed and fundamentally moved by software. Software is invading every industry. So the challenge I have for you, and I'm going to give you a few examples, and then I want to see if, I've got a couple of prizes, if you can actually come up with an industry that isn't affected by technology. So we'll jump to the first one. It's a bit of an obvious one. You might have played a video game or 2 before. This is a nice, easy one. So the video game industry is a $100 billion industry and growing very quickly. So that means it's bigger than the movie industry. So this is one of the things that is sort of industries that's popped up. So you can join a video game industry. You saw some great examples in the movies and things like that. So that's an obvious one. There's a whole industry that is big in its own right. We'll go to the next one. It's get a little more interesting. So perhaps you want to avoid that. You want to get into mining. Very popular occupation of the last few years. Not so popular now. But problem is that technology's invaded mining, and it did many years ago. So that big truck there is a self-driving truck. And they've had them for a very long time in the mining industry. The other thing that we're doing at CSC at the moment is we're doing smart helmets. So you think augmented reality. So again, operating around in mines, the miners now have helmets that have a heads-up display that allows them to see where they're going, look at panels and understand things. So being a miner now is a very technical job. You need to have computer skills. We'll jump to the next one. So you might want to say, let's go into farming. That's a nice, hands dirty in the dirt type of industry. No, I'm sorry, they've had self-driving harvesters for a long time. There's a huge industry called the food tech industry, and they're looking to fundamentally change the way we grow food. So you may have seen this online where people are getting old shipping containers, filling them full of fluorescent lights, and then they're able to grow lettuces, and they put these inside the cities. And there's a computer-controlled environment doing this now. So even getting to the farm, there's no dirt involved. So even now, with farming, you need to be in the technology industry. Who's learned how to drive yet? Are you guys old enough to drive yet? Is that, yeah? I failed my driving course 4 times. So if you have the chance to open the bonnet on a car, it's not like they used to be. You used to open a car bonnet and there's lots of things you could play with. Now if you open up one, there's nothing you can touch. And the first thing that happens when you go to have your car serviced is they plug you into a computer and it tells you exactly what's wrong. Now, if you think about the motor industry, all these cars are put together by robots. It's not a far leap to say that they'll be serviced by robots fairly soon as well. So if you want to be a mechanic, I'm afraid you're probably going to not have your hands dirty like this. You're going to be on a computer as well. Doctor. I'm sure my parents wanted me to be a doctor. Even now, robotics, doctors aren't necessarily using their hands anymore. There's an awful lot of these things going on as well. So we're starting to run out of industries where it's not really a technology industry. So the challenge I have for you is, can you come up with an industry that is not going to be dominated, or not dominated now, but not going to be dominated either? Anyone got any good ideas? I think this guy here was first. Sorry? Sport. Oh, I couldn't have asked for a better example. So it just so happens I do the digital strategy for the Brumbies rugby team. Now, I'm from New Zealand, so I find this quite a difficult thing to do. But we recently put out their mobile app. Now, one of the things with that you find with professional sport, there is probably no particular industry that is not more dominated by technology. So when you go look at the players playing in whatever team that you like on the weekend, you'll see on their back they have a little device. It looks like a lump on the back of their neck. They all have GPS devices on them, and it's all about analytics. So there's a huge amount of technology in the sport industry already. One from over here? Sorry? Plumbing. Oh, this was one I had on my list that was there, and I'm actually going to pay it out because it was one I couldn't actually say right now was. But last time I had a plumber around to my house, he had a mobile phone and did his billing in front of me. So I'll pay that one out. So we get one more. Over here. Yep. Sorry? Law is a good one. I would probably pay law as well. So the other ones that I was actually looking for, I was hoping someone would say hairdressing, because that's the one I came up with. And I thought, there's no way that technology is going to invade hairdressing. So I did a search on Google, and all you'll find is robots cutting people's hair. I don't think I want to be test driving it, but I think you'll find in the next few years we're going to see some weird things like that, probably in Japan. All of the videos are from Japan. So that was the challenge. So right now, there are very few industries that we can even name that aren't going to be impacted. And I'm sure some of these ones, like plumbing and law, will be impacted. So that's the challenge. The next one is the secret. Now, the secret's very important for people of your age. And a lot of people in the technology industry don't like talking about this. The technology industry is very unique. It's the only industry I know where experience is not necessarily an advantage. And this is important. This means that based on the number of people here, I would say there is 10 CEOs by the time they're 25. Maybe 10 or 20 millionaires who've got their own companies by the time they're 30. So if you're a doctor, they don't let you on day one operate on people. It takes years. If you're a lawyer, they don't let you go and try cases in the court of law on day one either. But in the technology industry, everything that is new is generally better. So it's a distinct advantage. It means that you can actually move through the industry far quicker. So where people tell you experience is important, it is, but it's not as important in the technology industry as many other industries. So there is nothing stopping you being very senior very quickly. And this is bad career advice, but I have the same job I had when I was 23. So I'm living proof that you can have a top technology job when you're very young. So that's the secret of the technology industry. So the last one is a little bit of advice. And I wish that people had told me this back when I was looking to move into the employment. Whatever you choose to do, make sure it's fun. Now, this is not a silly sort of thing to say. When you enter the workforce, you actually have a choice whether your job is fun or not. And I think one of the things that I'd like all of you to walk away from today when you look at your careers is you can have a fun career. It doesn't have to be an amazing sort of thing, but you can make almost any job fun. So what I'm going to do now is we've got some of our, as we said, recently joined our company, and I'm going to first just kick things off by getting them to just explain what they did at university quickly. And then just to head that off, I'll say, when I was your age, I wanted to be a chemist. I really wanted to be a chemist, and the problem was that I only wanted to be a chemist because I liked mixing all the chemicals together to see what would happen. And it didn't take me too long to realise that all I got was a brown, smelly liquid every single time. So I think that lasted about 2 months. So I'll hand over. Do you want to start, Stella?
So I guess what we can... Hello? What have you got there? I'm up on screen, thank you. So we've got some questions how about we start with you guys first? If you've got any questions you'd like to ask our graduates, and just before we start introducing, we've got Jessica, who's actually in our department, in our law department. We've got Stella, who's in our banking department. We've got Jack and Eric, actually, who are in the department that I work in, which is Sales Operations and Sales Hub. So as you can see, they've all come to our organisation with very diverse backgrounds, and they're all going to go through their 2 years of the graduate program and learn lots of different facets of the business, because that's the whole notion of being a graduate. So obviously, they're probably as nervous as you might be if you were sitting up here after 3 weeks. So how about some questions from the floor? What sort of things do you want to know from these guys? Yes, over there. Did you hear the question?
Hello? Yeah, I started really not knowing what I wanted to do going along, and the way they sort of sold the job opportunity was that you really can make of it what you will. Like, it's up to you how you perform in the job. There's a lot of opportunities to go to lots of different sectors. Like, it is an IT company, but as you've seen, there's a lot of different departments within the company, all that work on really different things to do with the business. Does that answer your question?
Yes. I just wanted to add to that. It's whatever opportunity you make it to be. Like, even if you don't know what you want to do, you just have to be open to doing a lot of different things. Say if you're interested in, I don't know, finance, you can just ask them, oh, I'm really interested in finance, so can I get a try of that? And I think CSC is really good because it allows flexibility for that.
Just to add to that as well, I'm currently in the legal department there at CSC, but I'll be moving to banking. So there is opportunity to move between different departments.
And I think that's, when you think about it, it doesn't matter if you don't know what you want to do. I don't think any of us knew what we wanted to do at your age. I think the most important thing is to keep an open mind and seize every opportunity that you get to learn something new, because after all, that's how you realise what you might want to do. Some of you might already be working in McDonald's or KFC. That's probably something you don't want to do for a career, perhaps. Another question.
What are your current goals in the company?
Well, I've just recently joined the company, and I think my current goal is to learn the sheer size of the business, because I've never worked in a company that is of this size. And also, I think in short term, my goal is to develop my professional skills and soft skills, and in the long term, I want to learn like every aspect of the business that our company has.
Down the back there, way down the back.
I went to the University of New South Wales.
I also went to the University of New South Wales, but I was studying commerce and economics.
I did engineering and commerce at Sydney University.
I did both of a bachelor and master in Sydney Uni.
What makes you love working for CSC? Me? Anyone.
Well, at the moment, as Matt had mentioned, or was it Kerry who mentioned, we've just acquired UXC, so I think now is a really good time to be working at CSC, because there's going to be a lot of opportunities to grow professionally. So that's one really exciting aspect. Another is that the company is very excited about the graduate program. Everyone's really supportive. Also,
the executive team is really open to the graduates. So when we were going through the interview process, a lot of the senior management came down to speak with us. And these are all like CEOs, CTOs, and people like that. So it was really amazing to see that they really cared about what we could contribute to the organization.
Did you take any internships and did they help you in the long run?
Yeah, I took an internship a few years ago. It was actually over in Western Australia in the mining industry, so it doesn't really relate to IT. But as they mentioned earlier, it really technology really does permeate every industry. So I did have experience using it over there, and even though it wasn't a career path that I wanted to follow, it did help in me. I think it helped me in my application to CSC. Yeah.
I might just add to that one because it's slightly outside the graduate program. I have internship people working for me now, and that, not that they joined CSC as interns, but previously. So in my last company, I think we had about 5 interns who joined a digital media company. Now, all 5 of those people have significantly accelerated their careers. And so I mean they've bypassed maybe 2 years by doing so. So I think if it's done correctly, an internship in the right places can be very, very beneficial.
Who else we got?
Did you seek out CSC or did CSC go to you?
I think we sought out CSC. I think CSC wasn't really kind of expansive on its graduate program as yet because they actually started hiring graduates last year. The biggest graduate intake they've ever had was this year, and we've taken about 60 graduates across Australia. And next year we're hiring an even bigger graduate pool. So I mean, now we're coming on campus and doing all these events, but previously we didn't really have that kind of exposure.
Yes, hand over there.
Oh, me? All right. Are there any overseas placements throughout the grad program, or is it all based in Australia?
Well, not that I'm aware, but I think if, we've got a presence, of course, in 63 countries, and I'm sure there are in lots of our other offices around the world. Is that right, Sylvia? I'm pretty sure we can say yes. Okay, so what Sylvia said is we hire in Australia. Once you join, you've always got an opportunity once you've gone through the graduate program to be able to be transferred around the world like every large corporate. Great opportunity, great experience. Yes, over here.
Wait.
Over there? Yeah, hi.
What specifically do you do at CSC?
So I'm in legal at the moment. What I do is anytime there's a legal dispute between CSC or a client, any disputes in terms of employees, then we do the review, we do the legal review. We also look at contracts a lot. We have a contracts team and they draft the contracts for our clients, but if a client were to give us a contract, then we'd be the team to review it.
As a company, what does CS actually do? Like as a whole company, not just individuals?
Wow. Do you want to answer that or shall we both answer it? No. CSC provides IT services and solutions to Australian companies. We focus on a lot of digital transformation for our organisations. We sell all sorts of solutions. Matt probably will want to expand.
Yeah, it is a hard question in some ways, but I'll try and explain in a simple sort of message. If you were to go out and use an ATM, there's a reasonable chance you're going to hit one of our core banking systems. So 2 of the big banks, we operate their core banking system. If you were to jump into a motor vehicle, it's highly likely your insurance went through one of our insurance systems. If you had a crash and went to the hospital, it's extremely likely that the system that's managing you in the hospital is one of ours as well. So we're across all these different verticals. So we have a presence in pretty much every hospital, most of the banks, all the insurance companies, mining in particular is another big one of ours. So every industry, as we said, 6,000 people in this country and in New Zealand alone.
I think we've got time for 2 more questions. I've just got up, you've been ever so patient. Oh, I'm probably very biased to answer that question. The question was, what makes CSC such a great company to work for? Personally, what I find what's so good about working for CSC, is we have a very progressive CEO. He is totally focused on creating the right solutions for the right clients, whatever it takes to delight our clients. Personally, I love the autonomy in my role, that I have a team that together we work, create amazing solutions for proposals. And I think it's just the fact that you are encouraged to have a go and to be able to look at all broad spectrums of our organisation and move to there. So that's what I enjoy about CSC, and I think with our graduates, they're looking forward to all of that opportunity, I guess. Last question. Yes, down here. The biggest company that we've supply IT infrastructure to. We have a huge portfolio, of course, within the Defence Department here, and particularly in the US, we provide most of the defence solutions to the big public sector over there. But do you reckon it's defence? Lots of everything, I think.
We recently split the company in two, but yes, mostly we had half of the company was defence and public sector in the US. But now, just in Australia alone, we provide and have provided for, I think, the last 30 years, all of the IT services into AMP as an example. If you were to go through and talk about Rio Tinto, BHP were big customers. As I said, all of the banks are customers in some form. So most of the sort of top 200, I think we would say we're a top 200, top 500 corporate sort of IT service provider.
So I think we've run out of time, but thank you for your patience and also your questions. But I think the most important thing is have a go and learn. Thank you.